Okay, maybe you could tell us your name.
Okay, I'm Pastor Keith from Church of the Overcomer here in Trainer, Pennsylvania.
Beautiful. You want to start a question?
So, Pastor Collins, first of all, we want to thank you for hosting the Poor People's March on Washington.
Yes,
Well, it's an
thank
honor.
you.
I'm honored because I'm down 100% for the cause, and I told Sherry I'm going to join up with you guys somewhere in the further on in the march. Yes.
On the real poor
Yes.
people led
Right.
Yeah,
march.
but
That
the
is.
real
Not the
poor people.
pastor led
That's
march.
that's not the
Middle-class people march.
the poverty industrial complex and all those
Ashe.
kind of things.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. And yes, so and it's been quite exciting here. This is my first time in Philadelphia. I heard about you. Yes, I heard about
I have
you
too.
yesterday
Oh, that's
when we were
dangerous.
gathering, rallying
I
just
want you to
before
be
the
one of the
march.
extremists now.
Only good things.
No,
Only
it was
good
great
things.
things. We heard about you.
Extremist just means
I
you're
know.
extremely kind.
Kind. Okay.
Okay.
And it was brought up. It was brought up. I thought it was quite interesting. It was brought up that you are, I don't know, one or the only pastor and church in the area that actually given support for Mumia Abu Jamal.
Yes. Yes, we have a very extensive prison ministry. It's called Prison to Praise.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing it about 20 years, and that's an extensive part of our ministry because I believe that when Jesus said I was in prison and you visited me, I believe to take that literally. So we visit, we send correspond, we send monetary gifts, we work with family members that are left behind, but also because of the just increasing number of political prisoners, we tried. Like I've had Pam and Ramona Africa here. I'm going to have them back again to tell the whole story. But Mumia, I listened to him growing up when I was a teenager. He was a groundbreaking journalist. He was a journalist that wasn't afraid to confront the politicians, the powers that be, and we've never had a journalist like him since.
Right.
And a lot of people only know what they hear. They don't know the story. They don't look at the evidence. The evidence, we know that the officer was killed, but it has never, the evidence doesn't say that Mumia did it.
Exactly.
And this is what I'm trying to open up the minds, particularly the minds of the church world, because we feel like if it comes from the establishment, it must be true.
Right.
So I looked at the evidence. I have friends of mine that are attorneys, looked at the evidence, and I looked at everything and I said, there's no way. And any rational person looking at it would have to conclude that. And we just had a big rally a couple weeks ago for him because they're trying to do a hearing to reconsider his case. And of course, all the FLP and everybody was out there, but they never talk about the evidence. They only talk about the fact that he was convicted. A lot of people have been convicted of a lot of things that they didn't do.
Right.
Because we live in a totalitarian state.
Thank
I
you.
mean, let's just be honest. So therefore, if they want to convict you, they're going to convict you. So Mumia is a case along with many other political prisoners that I think we need to be educated. And I'm trying to educate the church world and the clergy world, because I think that I'm very sad that we're not playing a larger role in this.
And why do you think that may be?
Well, oftentimes the church was created to be the counterculture, but now the church has become like the culture. When I say the culture, I'm talking about the establishment, the powers that be, the forces of hyper-capitalism, the forces of wealth by any means. We have bought into that, and we have not stood our ground in terms of taking the moral high ground, the things that Dr. King and many others talked about in terms of coming against what he called the three curses, the militarism, racism, and materialism. And the church has really stood for all those things, because even we have the flag inside the church. Now, there used to be a flag inside this church, but I took the flag out.
Thank you.
By full disclosure, I've been the agent of the state twice. I was a paratrooper when I was 19 years old, and I was a cop for a little bit after that. But after I've had my expansion of my mind, I realized that you can't be a true minister and be an agent of the state. The two don't go together. And if the church is separate from which they always preach on TV, why is the flag sitting up in the church?
Thank you.
The church is supposed to be independent of any nationalistic concern. We're supposed to be concerned about the people. And we're supposed to be concerned about the moral high ground, not about pledging allegiance to a flag from a nation that has demonstrated historically that it is not what it purports itself to be. So I think that the church has, in an effort to condone when I was listening to, in my car, I was listening to Malcolm X's speech, The Ballad or the Bullet, one of his most powerful speeches, and he just slid in there. He talked about the white church in America is really there to support white nationalism.
Yes.
That's what it's there for. It confirms white nationalism. And when I looked at it, I said, that was brilliant. 50, 60 years ago. When you look at it, when they start all the wars, they bring out the church. When they have the holidays, the rabbis, the priests, the preachers are all there condoning the militarism, condoning the separation of people, condoning the classism. And I realized I had to withdraw myself from that. You know, I always tell people, I came from a ministry where I kind of was like Colin Powell. You know, I tell people I came from a ministry where I was making like $100 grand, okay? And I wasn't even the senior pastor, okay? But I had an epiphany. I came from one of those mega, got it going on, lights, camera, action churches, okay? But around 99, 2000, I realized I can't keep doing this.
Ashe.
And I said, you know, I have to do something very radical. I have to make a break with this. Everybody thought I was crazy because I went from making this money to making zero. But you know what? My spirit is refreshed.
Ashe.
I've been able to see people transform. This is what I wanted to be able to do. To work hands-on, not like a rancher where you got thousands of cattle and you can't, but to work hands-on with individuals and see their lives transform, to get down and dirty, to go to court with people, to go to prison. You know, I visited Delbert, Africa a few weeks ago. So I want to be able to be on the cutting edge of that in my senior years. I want to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to spark the minds of other young people to give them a reason to go into the clergy. It's not what you've been taught. This is what our real mission is. This is what our real mission is.
Can I ask you? So when the Philadelphia mayor, right, took out a whole city block of Philly.
In Kensington? Move. Oh yeah.
At that moment,
that
were
was horrible.
you in the well-paid ministry, or were you?
No, at that moment I wasn't. At that moment, because that well-paid part was only lasted 5 years. It was very short-lived. It lasted 5 years of my life.
Because you were
so,
smart.
Yeah, and so I've been a minister for like 40 years, but that only lasted 5 years.
Right.
But I was around. We moved. I'm from Philly. I watched it on television. My wife and I sat there and watched it in my mother's living room. We watched it, and I said, "This is horrible." But again, it shows you how the state. They put that white corporate agenda. They put a black face on it.
Thank you.
And this is what's happening all over our country now.
Yes.
All of these, what I call all the little petite black bourgeoisie educated people are now. It's more sophisticated now because now, you want a black face? Here, take this.
Right.
And that black face is really just the face of empire and imperialism.
Exactly.
It's the same face.
Exactly.
It's the same face. And I went to see Sister Ramona speak at Mother Bethel in Philly, and she said something that chilled my soul, which was why I had to go and have them come here to speak. She said after that happened, the black clergy in Philadelphia, after the bombing, after 11 people died, a city block was devastated, unprecedented destruction in Philadelphia, the black clergy came together to have a prayer service for Mayor Wilson Good, but they never offered prayer for the Move family.
Wow.
That shook the core of my being.
No.
That shook the core of my being, and I said, how could clergy be so callous to loss of life?
Wow.
Regardless of what you think about their ideology, life was lost. So I said, I have to take up this mantle.
Thank you.
And let them know that there's some churches and church people out here that do care and that are focused on the mandate and the mission of the church, which is to reach out to the last, the lost, and the least, and to transcend ideology, politics, culture, class, gender, and all that.
Okay, as a member of the last, the lost, and the least, or as I say, I'm your client, service resistant and non-compliant. As we call ourselves poverty scholars of Poor Magazine.
Beautiful.
And I send a shout out to my sister Queen Nandi, who, whenever we talk about the revolutionary African known as Jesus, Yahweh, she calls him Black Jesus.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So can you break it down, revolutionary pastor, a little bit on the actual revolutionary mission of said Black Jesus?
Okay, that's so powerful because again, what has happened historically. Now I've been blessed. I've been to Cairo, Egypt. I've seen the Coptic Church, which is the oldest. Not the Catholic Church is not the oldest. The Coptic Church is the oldest church,
Sandra,
and they are dark as night. Now, Jesus, according to the scripture, went into Egypt to hide. Now, you can't hide a white baby in a black man's country.
Okay.
So, historically, when we look at when we peel off all the distortions,
Right.
okay, we know that the African nature of the scriptures is an Eastern book. It's not a Western book. It's been corrupted by Western ideology, but it is an Eastern book. So I don't, a lot of times, people of our genre that want to do radical things, we look at this and we want to throw certain things out. But I ask people, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. It's been distorted.
Right.
The Bible is a revolutionary. This is the most revolutionary book there. That's why it's been so distorted.
Interesting.
That's why it's been so misinterpreted, and that because it's been used by when Western ideology took over, when Constantine, the Roman emperor, took over the church because he couldn't stop it.
The key, right?
When he decided, that's when the cross became, which was the emblem of suffering, and the emblem, it was the emblem of suffering and the emblem of the oppressed. Then it became the emblem of the oppressor. And they've been oppressing people ever since. Been going all over the world, killing, murdering, raping, pillaging,
under
the name of the cross.
Right.
Okay, with the blessing of the priest and the pastor.
Right.
So we've gotten away from the black Jesus. We've gotten away from the compassion. We've gotten away from the mission, the wealth redistribution, the debt forgiveness, the gender equality.
Say that.
We've gotten away, and that was his mission. That's why they was trying to kill him.
That's
He was
right.
executed by the state.
That's right.
He was executed by the state.
That's right.
That's why you got to be involved in this, because this man was executed by the state.
Exactly.
So yes, we have to enlighten as many people. And I don't have a lot of preacher friends, as you can probably guess at this point, because they're not ready. They're not ready to take that quantum leap with me.
Right.
But I'm a soldier, so I don't mind going on long range patrols by myself. I don't mind. I don't mind. As long as I can be with the real people, that's what blesses me. That's what keeps me. That's what drives me, to be with people like you guys and the people that you work with and work for. That's what drives me.
That's what's up. Any last questions?
He's about
We
to get
good?
his on.
Any last word you want to say to
I just
Poor
wanna-
News Network? That's
Okay.
PNN, not CNN.
Oh, that's PNN. I love it. I'm loving it. I'm loving. Listen, I'm going to be on. I'm gonna check it out. I'm so excited to know that you guys are there, because it's about giving hope to people. It's about seeing the people. One of the most famous passages that people like to quote in the scripture, the Sermon on the Mount. But before you get to the Sermon on the Mount, it says that as Jesus ascended up to the mountain, he saw the people. See, you don't deserve to go up if you're not looking at the people. The problem in our culture today is we have people that have ascended, but they've never seen the people. They've looked past the people and looked to their own agendas and ideologies. So I think that what you guys are doing is so beautiful, because you're looking at the people.
Oh, sure.
You're seeing the homeless people. You're seeing the people that need shelter, that need employment, that need services, and you're giving it to them without the nonprofit industrial complex, and without the spirit of the poverty pimping.
That's right.
That is making people millionaires.
That's right.
And it's not helping nobody.
Shout out to Sister Lanice Packard, too, another revolutionary pastor in Oakland.
Okay,
And,
beautiful.
Yeah, and much love to our homefulness crew. We have this blessing of sitting with this powerful actual minister in this beautiful room filled with so many important things. And we out.
And that's Pastor Keith Collins.
Let's keep going.
Pastor
Thank
Keith Collins. No more about us without us, because change won't come from a savior, a pimp, or an institution. Change will only come from a poor people-led revolution.
Beautiful.